Hey guys, it's Hodgepodge here, and today we're doing something a bit different. Today we are reviewing the Series 1 Primeval Nick Cutter and Time Anomaly figures from the Primeval toy line by, I believe the company is called either Character or Character Options. Or it might be both, could be neither. Let's get on with this. Now, Primeval was a TV show in the UK. It was basically about time anomalies, which are these things opening up in present day England, it seemed to be, and they would open up gateways to the past, basically, and then creatures from the past, and as we find out, the future as well, would come into the present day, and basically the main characters of the show would have to stop them and try their best to send them back or kill them if necessary to protect the public, all while doing it in secret. So that's very, very basic premise of the show, one of my favourite shows of all time. That does not do it justice, by the way. So yeah, I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you like dinosaurs like me. They released some toys alongside it, so let's get into the review. So here we have Professor Nick Cutter. This is the Series 1 figure, and just from looking at the face, you can just tell this looks just like, if it will focus, it looks very much like Douglas Henshall, who's the actor who plays Professor Nick Cutter in the show, and he's wearing his very iconic green jacket that you see in episode 1 and 3 of Series 1, also episode 2 I think. Yeah, this he wears in the first half of season 1. Now, the face is really well done. Like I said, looks just like the actor. The ears nicely sculpted, the eyes, the nose, the lips are painted a very faint pink, but they don't look like lipstick, so it looks really good. Defined chin, really good face, and then the hair detail looks fantastic. They picked just the right colour. And all the pockets and the buttons on the jacket are great, and these figures are very articulated. You can, if you really want to, you can swivel the neck around completely, just do it kind of an owl sort of thing, and the articulated the shoulders, upper arm, elbow joint. Now, as you can tell, I've had this figure ever since I was a child, and so there's a lot of wear and tear on it. As you can see, my dog must have found this at some point and completely nibbled his left hand, and his right hand has come off completely, but it's the same thing for the right arm, exact same articulation. He also swivels at the waist as well. Oops, messed up his leg. Woo! The thighs or the hips, split them out like that. You can move them forwards and backwards. Then upper legs swivel. He's wearing cream coloured pants, which you've got to be very brave to wear light coloured pants, to be honest. I certainly couldn't. Bends at the knees as well. You can kind of have, like, if you really want to, you could have him posing triumphantly, kind of like that. If you've got a rock or something under his foot. And his shoes are really nicely detailed. I don't know what kind of shoe they are, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about shoes. I'm not used to doing people, okay, I'm used to doing extinct animals. Oh, come on, please focus. There's kind of a lace going around shoes, and it's very, very pale white. You can just make out, I'm sorry, my camera's not focusing. But yeah, overall, I think this is a great figure. Oh, there's some pockets on the back there as well. I think this is an excellent figure of the character, and that green jacket is so iconic, season 1. And now we move on to the Time Anomaly figure. Now this comes in 2 parts. It's the main kind of thing here, and then it sticks into a base which just pops out in and out of, like so. Now this is a very hard figure to make. How on earth do you make a gateway in time where all we know about is that it emits light? Oops, you can stand off to the side there, Nick. All it does is that it emits light, infinite energy and is incredibly magnetic and can be locked by an electromagnetic charge or something like that, as we see in the show. So this figure, it also has to float, and you can't exactly make solid matter just float, unfortunately. So they've had to they've sculpted this really cool looking see-through-ish white plastic, but they've sculpted in um, like tiny little studded shapes embedded in these bigger chunks of plastic that radiate out this like more rounded center. I don't know how on earth to describe it, but that's basically what an anomaly looks like. And so I think, considering how hard it is to make this kind of figure, I think they did a damn good job. Here you can see it's a lot more prevalent. You can see these tiny little smaller chunks sticking out here, embedded into the larger pieces as they protrude out from the center. Now, unfortunately, my only complaint is that you see a lot of this on both the front and the back, I guess you could call it, where they kind of, some of the smaller ones kind of chunk together a bit, and it's hard to separate, and I don't really want to split them too far apart because I feel like they might break. It's pretty tough plastic, but ooh, that doesn't feel good. Yeah, I guess that's my only complaint, that some of the like strands kind of clump together a bit, and it does look a bit flat. I think I would have preferred it if these bits splayed out a bit more, but that might have been hard to put in the packaging. It stands up. It stands absolutely fine, and there is also another version of the Anomaly toy, which I think is definitely superior to this one, but I think that one's a lot more expensive, if I remember correctly. These came out in 2007, I think. I think that's when Season 1 of Primeval aired, and these came out alongside that, so yeah, it must have been 2007. For a cheaper alternative to the big one, I think this is pretty good. Might be a bit small for a lot of the creatures, but a lot of the creatures from Season 1 are actually pretty small anyway, so that's fine, it works out. And speaking of the creatures from Season 1, I can't believe they never made a Gorgonopsid figure, because that is such a prevalent creature in Season 1 of Primeval that to remedy that slightly, but not at all, here's these fire limited Innostransevia, which I'm almost certain was the species of Gorgonopsid in episode 1 and 6 of Season 1. And yeah, it's completely out of scale, but relative to the show, in real life, it still might be a bit off. But you can, it's great. You can have that over there. Maybe it comes through. This could actually be the Lycaenops from Primeval New World. As you can see here, I have thoughts on that show. Maybe someday I'll actually talk about the show itself, because my explanation at the beginning does not do it justice at all. You could have an attack cutter or anyone, or they can run away from it. Oh, it's brilliant. And maybe you can go back through, like, just bump my camera. And there we go. Yeah, I think these figures are fantastic. And as for size, let's take a look at that. Now, cutter stands about 14 centimeters tall. Sorry if you can hear my cat, by the way. 5.5 inches. Oh my god, he is singing a song for me. And the Anomaly at the tallest point, just under 6 inches, which is 15 centimeters pretty much exactly. So yeah, if you're a fan of the show, I'd say it's probably worth picking these up, and if you like toys as well. If you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend you watch it. If you're a fan of dinosaurs or prehistoric animals in general, or if you just want a really good drama with some really likeable and engaging and interesting characters, I highly recommend the show. And if you like figures, I highly recommend you get these as well. So I think that's all I have to say on this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review. And let me know if you want to review more of these, because I've got almost all the Primeval figures. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.